you're good.
All right, it is 6:16. I'll call this meeting to order as we have a quorum of the board present. If everybody will please stand, and let's recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Catherine Solon, Abby Maddock,
Here.
Dr. Bardo,
Here.
Bobby Braun, Joe Maddock Nelson,
Here.
Kristen Mattmiller,
Here.
Scott Peterson,
Here.
J.D. Schrader, and Danny Pyatt.
I just want to go back to J.D. Schrader. He is on. Can he hear us? J.D.?
It shows he's in.
J.D., can you hear us?
I can hear you guys. You can't hear me?
We can hear you now. We were just doing the roll call, so Deanna will say your name again. And
J.D. Schrader,
Here-ish.
thank you, J.D. Item number 2, citizens and delegations. Letter A, our student representative report. Hi, come on up.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi. So it's me, Ashley, and I'm going to start off with our club updates. So our Captain Poultry Week that we did, we raised $183, and it was donated to the Antigo Food Pantry. And there were 253 food items donated to our building's pantry. So we're hosting the tryouts for the musical this week, and we can't wait to see what talent our students bring this year. Several clubs will be participating in the upcoming CTE Open House with activities for community members and their families, which is tomorrow. The Antigo FFA has had a productive month. They went to a Mission and Impact Conference in Wisconsin Dells, where 9 dedicated Antigo FFA members learned how to be better leaders within our chapter and how to create healthy connections with peers. They are also having their fruit sale fundraiser, which helps fund trips and their transportation. They're also having a poinsettia sale during the CTE Open House. To wrap up the month, their officer team is having a Secret Santa gift exchange. For our sports updates, the Antigo wrestling teams have been busy over the past 2 weeks. The boys are 4-2 on the season and have a full lineup for the first time since 2018. The girls team is growing with 4 members, 2 of whom are ranked in the state. At recent home tournaments, Antigo hosted 154 girls from 30 teams and 217 boys from 17 teams, with freshman Summer Thunder winning an individual girls title and the boys finishing 6th. Austin Martinson, Antigo High School's very own boys hockey goalie, received the Wisconsin Prep Hockey Player of the Week award. Austin is a freshman here at Antigo High, and we are all very proud of him. The team is doing well, having a record of 4-2 and hosting Rhinelander tomorrow night. Coach Riley Bricko is proud to share that the gymnastics team was recognized by the judges for their outstanding sportsmanship and for cheering and encouraging one another at the Rhinelander Invitational this past weekend. For field trips, the infant and toddler class did Cocoa for a Cause at the Chili Cookout, where they raised $354 for the Giving Tree. Their goal is $500. Big ol' 500. We'll be doing this during the CTE Open House tomorrow. The food/advanced culinary classes and the automotive classes cooked at the Chili Cook-Off. 2 winners from the culinary classes were at the Chili Cook-Off, were the best ones out of everyone who was voted. So they got to go to the cook-off. And thank you to Peter Lewandowski for lunch and Lakeside for donating the groceries. There was a band trip held to Chicago where select members of the Antigo High School Marching Band left during the Friday school day to drive down to Chicago. They got to see sites like historical landmarks, the famed Chicago Bean, and the Museum of Contemporary Art. They saw Home Alone while the Chicago Symphony Orchestra performed the score. They then spent the night at a 3-star hotel, returning Saturday morning. Mr. Smith reports it was a success. General high school updates include high school staff took part in a friendly game of Do You Have a Turkey in Your Pocket the 2 days before Thanksgiving. It gave staff an opportunity to mingle amongst themselves and gave students the opportunity to see staff enjoying themselves in a fun and silly way. Mr. Darrow and his choir classes put on a beautiful concert on November 24th. Students are finishing their winter Ames testing, and that's all I got. Okay, thank you. Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Letter B, recognition. Mrs. Oginski.
So first, we will begin with recognizing Megan Hare. Megan is a middle school special education teacher. We want to recognize and celebrate one of our incredible case managers, Megan Hare, for her exceptional leadership and dedication. Her impact is felt every single day across our school community. She is intentional and focused on student success, ensuring students with IEPs have meaningful goals and the direct support they need to thrive. Her commitment to partnering with families through consistent, clear communication builds trust and strengthens the home-school connection. Megan is also a team leader organizing testing, setting expectations, and managing paraprofessional schedules with clarity and professionalism. Above all, she models what it means to be a steady, reliable, and student-centered educator. Thank you for managing so many moving parts with care, purpose, and heart. Your work makes a tremendous difference. And I'm not sure if Ms. Hare is here. Okay. Next is Mrs. Keppel, and I know Jolene couldn't make it tonight. We want to celebrate our instructional coach and special education teacher, Jolene Keppel, for the tremendous impact she has on both students and staff. Her work is a powerful example of what it means to lead through action. She consistently models effective practices for students and colleagues, setting a high standard for learning, behavior, and professionalism. Her dedication to delivering targeted math interventions ensures students receive the support they need to build skills and confidence. Jolene's strength and collaboration brings teams together, creating alignment, shared purpose, and solutions that truly benefit kids. As a reflective coach, she asks the right questions, helps clarify next steps, and supports teachers in growing their craft. Thank you for being a steady, student-centered leader who works with intention, insight, and heart. Your impact is felt across the classroom and throughout the school community, even though Jolene's not here. Next, I would like to recognize Deb Wagner, our Director of Special Education. Ms. Wagner, please come forward and receive your award. Ms. Wagner has demonstrated exceptional dedication and resilience in her role as Director of Special Education. In addition to her regular responsibilities, she has taken on significant additional workload related to joint federal notification requirements and putting out some issues stemming from DPI complaints, which is a lot of additional work, a lot of additional documentation, along with meetings with DPI consultants. As part of this process, Ms. Wagner is working closely with DPI consultants, including ongoing collaboration connected to the TIG grant, which is work that has required additional meetings with staff to disaggregate data and develop more targeted support for our students with special needs. Ms. Wagner was charged with bringing the district's special education programming into compliance with state and federal mandates, and she has approached this responsibility with professionalism and persistence. Through her leadership, she has developed and strengthened systems and procedures within the special education department that will support improved consistency, compliance, and outcomes for students moving forward. Her commitment to this complex and demanding work has been instrumental in strengthening our special education services and ensuring we're meeting the needs of our students and families. Thank you, Ms. Wagner. Next, we would like to recognize Jake Leiterman, Director of Buildings and Grounds. We are,
Before you continue, I just want to comment that the recipients do not know ahead of time that they are receiving this. So if you are watching or you can't see the nonverbals from staff, that's what our reaction is about, is because they are getting surprised with this at the same time.
we are extremely fortunate, Mr. Leiderman, you need to come forward and get your reward, please. We are extremely fortunate to have Jake on our team. His extensive experience in the construction field has been invaluable as we manage multiple referendum-related projects across the district. Jake is currently leading work on the scope and development for the elementary, middle, and high school projects, while also advancing planning efforts for central office. In addition, he has been actively involved in preliminary work related to a potential new football stadium, all while continuing to manage his day-to-day responsibilities. Through his expertise, attention to detail, and careful oversight, Jake has helped the district realize significant cost savings on every referendum project. He has also implemented a new contract for transportation and food service for our district in the same year. His contributions have made a meaningful and lasting financial impact on the district, and we are very grateful for his dedication and leadership. And I have to share a quick story. Jake and I were at a construction meeting, and they were going through work orders and changes and lots of different things that just the common layman would not be familiar with. And when we left, I asked Jake, I said, Jake, what do school districts do that don't have a Jake that has the background knowledge and the experience with that? And he said, well, they have to hire somebody. So I think that a lot of times the work that Jake does is behind the scenes and people don't really realize it. So I felt it very appropriate to recognize Jake for all he does for our district. Thank you, Jake. And last but certainly not least, I would like to recognize Kesha Mushak, our Director of Technology. Kesha has been a tremendous asset to our team, and she is virtual right now. After joining the district, Kesha immediately began developing strong systems and processes within the technology department. She conducted a comprehensive audit of the department and successfully negotiated key purchases necessary to bring our district up to current technology standards. Kesha consistently looks for opportunities to increase efficiency while being fiscally responsible. Her thoughtful leadership and attention to detail have resulted in meaningful cost savings for the district. Most recently, she identified changes within her department that will save the district more than $50,000 annually. Kesha has been collaborating with architects to design the library and all of the other technology and PA systems for all the scopes at the elementary and at the middle school, and we'll be doing the same for central office. And if the football stadium project comes to fruition, she will be part of that work as well. So congratulations, Kesha, and thank you for all you do for the district.
Can we pause for a logistical situation? I don't have a voter.
Nathan, do we have Abby's voting device?
Behind you. Oh, well, maybe I have yours.
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, look at this.
All right, thank you.
I saw mine right there, but I,
Everybody check the back of your remote to make sure that you have your name. Thank you.
The only one
Thank
I
you.
found out is JD's because I have that one.
You have a JD's.
I had
Great.
that one night too.
Okay, letter C, under citizen delegation is public comment. We have one person who has signed up. Policy number 0167.3 states that the presiding officer will be guided by the following rules. The public comment shall be permitted before the board takes official action on any issue of substance. Attendees must register their intention to comment in the public portion of the meeting upon their arrival at the meeting. Comments made by the public shall be civil in content and tone, affirming the decorum established for a school board meeting by the school board, disparaging comments, remarks about school board members, employees, students, positions or position titles, and/or district citizens shall not be made permitted. Comments by the public shall be in reference to a specific agenda item. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and will be requested to preface their comments by an announcement of their name and group affiliation if and when appropriate. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 5 minutes duration, which Nathan will have a timer on the screen. No participant may speak more than once on the same topic unless all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. Participants shall address only topics within the legitimate jurisdiction of the board. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No person may address or question board members individually. Letter K is the presiding officer may, number 1, interrupt, warn, terminate a participant's statement when the statement is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. Number 2, request an individual to leave the meeting when that person does not observe reasonable decorum. Number 3, request the assistance of law enforcement officers in the removal of a disorderly person when that person's conduct interferes with the orderly progress of the meeting. Or number 4, call for recess or an adjournment to another time when the lack of public decorum so interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting as to warrant such action. The portion of the meeting during which the comment of the public is invited shall be limited to 60 minutes unless extended by a vote of the board. Reminder to the board members and the speakers, this is not a conversation between the board and the person speaking at the microphone. The person at the microphone will be allowed their 5 minutes to speak, and we will move to the next person who has signed up to speak. And as I've stated, we have one person that has signed up to speak tonight on behalf of the East Elementary Project, and that is Mike Parizek. Mike, come on down.
Good evening, Mike Parizek, concerned taxpayer, I guess we'll say. East Elementary is on the agenda under a couple different things, under number 3 and number 5. And I guess maybe more questions than anything, but I was here, I think, and it was a June or July meeting, and that was brought up and talked about a little bit. My question is looking at the information presented, it's right around $150,000 price tag that the district's going to have to pay to raise that building. And the questions I have are, 1, was the building listed for sale at all? Because I've talked to a few realtors in the county here, and they did not see that or hear that listed. So I guess we can't get an offer on something, or unless it's listed for sale. You know, people that have been following the district and know what's going on probably know that it's been talked about, but it's really not been publicly listed as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's something that I guess I would like us to follow up on. So $150,000, I would assume, you know, that's going to affect the taxpayers of Langlade County. And I guess that's my biggest concern, is if we could look into that. And I know that's up for vote tonight, but maybe we need to take a step back and make sure we've checked all of our boxes. And if I'm wrong, I guess if somebody could provide me with that information, because I have reached out to a few folks and asked for some information, but from what I've been told, it hasn't been listed. So that's my concern. I guess if we sold it for $50, that's better than spending $150,000 to get rid of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Moving to item number 3, consent agenda. Letter number A, approval of agenda, minutes, financial reports, overnight school activity trips, report of district new hires, district retirement and resignation report. I will be looking for a motion, please.
I move the board approve the agenda minutes from the November 17th, 2025 Board of Education meeting, committee meeting minutes from December 8th, 2025, special Board of Education minutes from December 1st, 2025, district retirement and resignation report, report of district new hires, financial reports for November and December 2025, consideration of current bills, checks number 9375 through 9438 in the amount of $499,099.57. ACH's numbers 252600570 through 252600729 in the amount of $852,461.14, and wire transfers in the amount of $25,020.22 for for a total of $1,376,580.93.
Motion has been made by Jill. Would you like to speak to your motion?
No, thank you.
Questions of the motion on the floor? First of all, let the record know that I need to abstain from check number 252600584. Once again, Deanna, that's 252600584. Dr. Bardo?
I'll be abstaining on check 252-600-702.
Any other questions or comments of the motion on the floor? Since we are on the consent agenda for the approval of the agenda, it has been requested that under item number 5, board action, board members, if you'll please go there. The question has been asked that we can move letter H, consideration to approve the swim timing system purchase, to letter A under the board agenda. Are there any objections to making that change in the agenda? The question was asked later than we could allow for posting of that change, so we have to go through this process. If there are no objections, then by consent, we will move letter H to become letter A under board action. Deanna, if you'll help remind me when we get to that area of the meeting. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
You need to abstain from another check.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's this one. I just happen to have it right in front of me.
Did I read the wrong number?
Nope, that one
Oh.
is two. There's two of them.
So what's the last three of that?
714.
Thank you, Madam Vice President, for pointing out another check that I need to abstain from, and that is 252600714. Thank you.
I'm always looking out for you.
Thank you.
I don't object to the request. I do prefer also that anybody coming to be able to provide feedback to the board be placed earlier in the agenda, and I understand that this was an oversight. I know we saw letter A
Yes.
for that same reason, so I certainly do not have an objection to that.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments of the motion on the floor, which includes the moving of that agenda item? All right, hearing none, the voting device is now open. Would anyone like to change their vote? Oh, JD.
Yep, I'm yes, sorry.
JD's a yes. Would anyone like to change their vote? The vote is now closed. And the motion carries. Thank you. We will move to item number 4, administration reports. At this time, we'll turn this part of the meeting over to Mrs. Oginski.
Item number A, or item letter A, is Director of Business Services report. Mrs. Fossbender is present if anyone has any questions. Item B, Director of Pupil Services and Special Education. Mrs. Wagner is present if anyone has questions about her report. Item C, Director of Buildings and Grounds. Mr. Leiterman's report is attached, and he is going to share some particular points in his report with the board.
So as we know, we have the elementary school that's started and certainly well on its way under budget. But we have a whole nother portion of referendum work and dollars that we have to plan for, get designed, and get the work done. So a lot of that, the majority of that is going to be at the middle school and the high school. If you remember when we went through the referendum process, we had a few options of scope that we could run the referendum for. One of those options was 61 million, and that would have taken care of all the deferred maintenance that needed to be done in addition to the elementary school. When we surveyed the community, that option did not seem to be likely to pass. So the board had elected to go with a $54 million option. So that $7 million worth of deferred maintenance was still out there, with, you know, needing a plan for how to address it. Fortunately, with the elementary school coming in as favorable as it did, that gave us more than enough money to address that $7 million scope. So currently, we are planning and designing and hoping to get those plans submitted to the state for approval in January to address all deferred maintenance across the district. So that's great news, great place to be in. In addition to that, we also needed to find a solution for central office. Again, when you look at the big picture of things and where everything sits, we wanted to go ahead with planning for a standalone building for central office to replace the current one on Dorr Street. We are in the design process of that, and as we work through those needs and what that building might be, with Blue Design, they asked if that was something that we would want to discuss with Myron. The reason that they brought that up is the most reasonable location for that building would be on the John H. Bradley site as well. So with them already having mobilization and all their management team there, to have them get on board early brings a lot of benefits to the district and the community. Everything from planning to the management part, expediting the process. Obviously, every time you talk with anybody in the construction world, time is money. So any time that we can save certainly helps. But they can duplicate their management services, their mobilization fees, their construction oversight, and coordinate that plan, the job site with the current job site. They do a join, they will overlap a little bit of scope, and there's a lot of efficiencies that we can experience by joining with them early. I've spoken a lot about this in the past, how I feel that it was best for the main project to go out with just an architect and then bring construction management on. I still agree with that. I still stand by that. With this situation, being that it's intertwined, I think that there's a lot of upside for us, like I just listed. Another one is when you look at the materials that we're going to be building with for the new central office, there's going to be a lot of the same materials that are on the current elementary. So that helps us with the, procurement and supply and installation, and then obviously any attic stock or maintenance issues down the road. It's wise to have those materials, but it'll also cost less initially because we don't have to have different materials, different contractors going out to source the same materials. We can get better pricing because of the volumes that we're already at. So I feel very strongly that financially and quality-wise, it's in the best interest of the community and the district to partner with Myron for this building.
Well, I think people, we were at the retired teachers thing, and people were questioning whether the central office was on the referendum. And they need to know that it was, for one. And the second thing the public needs to know is how much that building costs us to keep. So if we have all this stuff going right now, in the long run, it's forward thinking as far as saving money and helping the district.
Yeah, our current building, I've spoke about it a lot in the past. We've had board members that have specifically asked why it's not on Fund 46. I could talk for a long time on why that building is not worth putting a penny into. It has so many deficiencies, safety issues. It just does not meet the need, and on top of it, it's a money pit. I wouldn't recommend to put one single penny in that, just as I have for the last 10 years.
Well, and quite frankly, it's an embarrassment to bring people there for meetings. You're in a basement.
It's not inviting in any capacity. That's quite honestly arguably a health hazard.
Yep.
I am in full agreement that we need something better for our current and future administration in this district, 100%. It is not good. It is everything that you said. However, I am worried about the perception that our voters have after they finally approved a new school for us. Maybe if they weren't realizing that this is what they were voting for. It's just a comment.
That's why we need to make sure that they know that it was on the referendum. Just be upfront about it. It was.
Yeah.
It was the last thing listed, if you want to look.
Yeah, and when we
Which
went,
is the last thing we're doing.
Yep. When we went through our, presentations with the community, every place that we went and talked to, we did talk about that, but certainly understand your comment, Abby.
Yeah.
There's-
I mean, with the tax bills coming today, there's going to be talk, and I'm just concerned.
But yeah, Mr. Peterson, to your point, that is the, we want to make sure that all that other scope was taken care of before we decided what options we even had for central office. So that's why we didn't have this, floor plan or anything of the nature done prior, because we needed to take care of our top priorities first. And I feel very confident that we are able to do that, and now we can look at what else we can do to better set the district up for the future.
Yeah, I'm thinking when we passed the referendum, we didn't think we'd be able to do this.
No,
By
no,
now.
we didn't.
Well, which is evident to anybody that might be interested to question our transparency on that. It was very clearly discussed routinely in board meetings, and Ms. Ojenski was very open that this would be the very last part of that referendum dollars. Like if the elementary school came in and we didn't have the dollars remaining at the end to get everything done with the new build and then infrastructure needs at middle and high school, that was not going to be completed at all. So that was very open, and I appreciate, Abby, you sharing that question, and Mr. Peterson too, bringing it up, because it was very transparent from the board, and within, I'm not going to say all board discussions because I didn't fact check myself, but very frequently discussed on these recorded meetings, and obviously within the referendum question itself.
Yeah, I think we
And,
just,
and to be specific, if it wasn't within the referendum question that was passed, we couldn't do it. And it's there.
correct, and we're in constant communication with our attorneys that wrote that question to assure that we are in compliance. I feel very fortunate that, this district and this community are finally getting things that, probably long overdue. I think it's no lie that we've had a need for a long time, and I just feel very fortunate to be part of it and see this finally come to fruition and, get the favorable bids that we have. If it wasn't for the favorable bids, we wouldn't have been able to do that. And, I've talked a lot to people in the industry, Myron, we're kind of the talk of the industry. When you look at those bid results, it was a perfect storm. And even Dave Voss, when he came in here, he said, I don't know how this aligned perfectly for you. He goes, this is the best outcome I've ever seen.
And who's Dave Voss?
Owner of Myron Construction. And, he just, when you look at a budget and then you look at what the bids were, we're just very fortunate, and I'm happy to be in this situation and be able to better prepare this district for the future, so. I will just add that this is just the CM part of it. The entire project is going to be bid out for all the trades, all the work, all those things. This is just bringing Myron on for their construction management portion, because they're already on site. They can help us expedite and save money, so.
Jake, I want to say that I believe it's kudos to all of the pieces that have actually came in well under budget, because there's your legwork, which is a lot, more than what anybody knows in this room. And then there are those that have put the bids in, and how amazed that Mr. Voss was with the bids that came in. And all of those low bids came in and was able to help us to look at the deferred maintenance that was not going to be touched, that is now going to be touched and fixed and taken care of. So I think that is kudos to your team and Myron for doing all the legwork for all of that to get done. I know you don't have this off the top of your head, but would you say that, Jake, this is with using Myron as the CM service here through this project, because they're already on site, it's possibly saving us hundreds to thousands of dollars in the long run? I'll never quote you on that, but I believe there's going to be a savings there of using them since they're already on site.
I can put it this way. I don't want to try to do the math off the top of my head, but construction management fee of 4% is rock bottom. Most times
Okay.
when you go out for pricing, it's going to be significantly more than that. Myron has a lot of local employees. Dave Voss felt very strongly about going after this. That's why he came in low, because he goes, we are cutting down to 4%. And he goes, you can go out and talk to other construction management fees, talk to your architects, and I did. And you can't find 4% as a standard construction when you look at a company with the qualifications of a Myron. So when you look at it from that stance, I would certainly assure 4% on whatever this building is gonna come into, is gonna be tens of thousands of dollars.
Correct. I think this is a great move on us to do this, and like Mr. Peterson has already pointed out, with the verbiage already in the referendum that was passed, and as Mrs. Maddock Nelson has talked about, that we've been very transparent and open, that the number one was the elementary, number two was all of the building needs that need to be taken care of in the high school and the middle school, and then the very bottom was going to be the administrative offices. And I think it would be a great move for us to do this for our school district.
Can I just clarify one thing? I think it could be confusing when we say we didn't go with the first option that was sent out in the survey because we didn't think it would pass. We are able to cover those total costs because the bids, our numbers came in very well in our favor. And in addition, those things that we didn't think we could address still fit within the criteria of the language within the question. Correct.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that's super clear. It
Yes.
still fits within the criteria of the question and the ballot, which is why we can still address it, even though that was not initially what our anticipation was with this being asked.
So in a way, what we thought was 61 ended up being 54. In a way.
We can get for 54, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Danny, I only wanted to add, I know that many administrators have been dreaming about a new building all the way back to Brian Bisbell. I've heard many a comment, certainly things along the lines of central office, like the bathrooms are right next to the offices, so you can hear everybody in the bathroom, which is uncomfortable. I know they've been using it for a long time. But, and I don't know, Jay, can you?
I think the first guy that was in there wanted to be out of there.
Is it like $1 million?
JD, I don't want
not
to
developed yet.
guess right now.
It's not
We're
planned.
still developing the floor plan with square footages. You know, once we get a little further down the road on a plan, you know, then we can start putting some numbers to it. That's one benefit that bringing Myron on now, they can help us with the budgeting, and really start streamlining, the materials needed and things of that nature to help us, have a better understanding of that. And that's one thing that is important when we look at making sure that all our deferred maintenance is done, is then having the ability to truly put this last, but know what that last cost is gonna be, so that we can, appropriately schedule everything. So I don't know that number right now, but when I started working through this with Blue Design and talking about budgeting and all those things that help lead into that final design of this, that's when we started talking about Myron. So they will be able to get us those numbers, probably within the next 4 to 6 weeks, I would assume. So I will update as we get there, but right now it's just, you know, we don't have enough solid plans yet to really speak to that.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Leideman? Thank you, Jake.
Thanks, Jake. Next, we have item D, Director of Technology Report. Mrs. Mushak is available if anyone has questions.
I have 2 shout outs for her. One, I attended the SLATE, which is the Technology Leaders Conference last week, and she was there along with Donna Krieger, learning everything they can about new technologies for our district, so I think that is amazing. Also, I really appreciate, Kesha, that you have your report attached when Deanna sends it out, it is super helpful to read through all of the agendas and prepare for the meeting as I do when it is there before the day of the meeting.
Up next is item E, Director of Curriculum and Instruction Report. Ms. Stutzriem is available if anyone has questions. Okay, if none, we'll go on to the Superintendent Report. On December 3rd, I attended the chili cook-off as a judge. I was offered the opportunity to judge the white chili. I don't know how good of a job I did because I had never tasted white chili up until that time. But it was fun. I met some new people, and of course, they were very friendly, and it was an enjoyable time, so I hope I get to go back and do that again next year. I completed listening sessions at all of the schools before and after our Thanksgiving break. I spent time meeting with all the staff, listening to any concerns, gathering valuable feedback to help guide our work with behavioral systems, because one of the biggest concerns was shared around student behaviors. So as many of you remember, we sent a group to Madison for Behavioral Academy training, and I have been meeting with the behavioral team at the elementary to get everything in alignment so that when we go to John H. Bradley, both North and West are speaking the same language, they have the same system, they're using the same processes. And we continue to work on that to get ready to implement. They're planning to implement as soon as we return from winter break at the two elementaries. And once we get that in place, we will continue to move up to the middle school and the high school as well with implementing those same strategies. Also, we met with the elementary teachers from North and West. We are at the stage where we need to start looking at and considering furnishings for the new elementary building. So we had, I think it's EBI came in and they brought samples of furniture that Ms. Stutzriem, Jake, and I, and our designer, Sue, attended with us. We went and we looked at several pieces of furniture. They brought the top selections in for staff to look at teachers' chairs, look at students' chairs, student desks, tables, things that they would want, teachers' desks, teachers' lecterns, and they voted on which items they preferred to have in their classroom as we prepare to have uniform furnishings throughout the new building as well. So they were very excited about that. It was enjoyable. Next, Ms. Stutzriem and I had the opportunity to attend a truancy meeting at the high school with Judge Kowalski and Courtney Imig regarding just truancy. Particularly, we were focused on the high school that day. Mr. Sigmund arranged this and got this ball rolling this year. They've had a couple of meetings so far. It was very informational regarding students that haven't been to school or students that we can't get in touch with. We're doing home visits. Our SRO is attending. He's doing home visits, trying to locate students to get them to school. So in the conversation, we talked about the need to have elementary involved because I am a proponent of that's where those habits begin, is at the elementary level. So the next meeting, we are going to bring our elementary principals in so that they can be part of that and make sure that we're all following a system in the district of notifying families about truancy and then making sure that we have some sort of level of accountability for students when they are truant. So there will be more to come on that. And then last but not least, we have policies. I met with Tim Bannock, and he has a new update of Neola policies, so we went through all of those. And before the night is up, if you could, Kristen, let's look at a date to get the policy committee on the calendar so that we can get on top of that and make sure that it doesn't fall by the wayside. The sooner the better if possible. And then last but not least, Mr. Pyatt and I will be on the radio tomorrow doing a rendition of all things regarding the board agenda. So tune in and listen in. That's all I have. Thank you.
I'll just comment that I've heard positive feedback about the teaming with the truancy team, and excitement around some potential action steps with that. And just to be clear, the district does a really good job. In my professional opinion, the district does a really good job, especially at the middle school and high school, because that's really what I can speak to, of following the truancy process and being very transparent with families. We're just seeking to get our students in. We still have a population that we need to target even
Yes.
more intentionally. So that's what this is about. I just want to make sure it's clear that our admin at both levels, probably all three, but again, are doing the work already with truancy. This is just, we know we can improve it and we need to.
Right, some intentional focus.
I think it's a focus of many districts. Elko talked about it,
Yep.
how their truancy affects their school grade, and their grade was better than ours. So if they get their truancy under control, that's going to really help their district and obviously ours too.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, their scores were very good even with truancy, so it's not just us.
Correct.
Dr. Barno?
Two things going back to when Jake was talking to us. The first one is, at some point, it was mentioned about the taxes have gone out here in recent days. Am I allowed to talk about what my taxes reflected, which two of those items would be the same for everybody?
That's your personal information. If you would like to share that, that's your prerogative.
Okay. Well, the school taxes actually the mill rate went down, and your tax bill will show that your taxes went down 9.1%. At the same time, the county, and that's for everybody that's within the district, their budget went down 10.5%. The city went up 5.7%, and then all the different municipalities that we deal with, everybody that number, the third number, will be whatever is on their tax report based on the municipality. But at least two of the three that you're always taxed on have significantly gone down. So that should be good for the taxes. The second thing was, I understand that we're basically, based on what we talked about, saying to Jake, talk to Myron about for the other things that we're doing with the new administrative, since it's right there. I think it's important that he starts that conversation and that we approve Myron at our next meeting, so that we're being transparent that we're adding this work to Myron. So I'm asking that that is put on the January board meeting.
Because it's all in one referendum work, it does not have to come back to the board for approval. It's all under one statement, one question with the referendum. And where our administration is going with that, with all of those dollars with the referendum, that's all included in that one statement.
Well, my concern, and I'm not sure, but my concern is that we selected Myron for the elementary school. We did not select them at that time, and I think originally we were thinking that maybe we'd be having bids again to who was, if we went in that direction, if we had money to do the administrative office, that we would again look for someone to be in charge. And that's just my feeling from how we started out, that my understanding was we were going to look again. Do I believe that the best choice is to stay with Myron? Yeah. And we have a lot of local people who live in our school district that work for Myron. I think it's a really great thing that Myron is our person, our company. But I really think we should think about, for transparency, to possibly have that vote in January, just for transparency.
Ms. Oginski can have a conversation with the attorneys, would it be Quarles and Brady, to see how that would fit with the referendum wording, and then we can bring a report, and that report would either consist of, yes, we can vote on this to bring Myron back, or it would be a statement from Quarles and Brady saying that we are following the referendum question by continuing the framework with Myron for the construction of the administration complex.
Okay, thank you.
Is that,
Yes,
okay?
I just want to make sure that we're doing everything correctly.
Because I certainly don't want to stall the work that's already going on that project.
I agree.
All right, are there any other questions for the administration's reports?
May I comment on Mr. Bardo's comment?
You may.
I just think Langley County has always been frugal, and kudos to all three entities. I mean, if the highest increase is the city at 5.7%, they got reassessed last year, which changes a lot of things, so good for them. I don't see any, I don't want people to think that we're bragging about our,
No, I
just want everybody to know, I'm proud of all three entities,
I'm
and I
just
think
giving
as a board,
facts.
we are too.
Yes, absolutely.
Just
Thank
giving
you.
facts.
Thank you,
Right,
Mr.
but
Peterson, for
good
bringing that
comment.
up. We will move on to item 5, and we will pick up letter H, which is consideration to approve swim timing system purchase. And I will be looking for a motion, please.
I move to approve the purchase of a swim timing system for the aquatic center for the price not to exceed $90,000, in which the Antigo Swim Club and a donor will pay the Unified School District of Antigo prior to the purchase.
Motion has been made by Jill. Would you like to speak to your motion?
This was presented to committee with members of the Antigo Swim Club
Correct.
board present. Of note, I don't know that I wrote down numbers, but Kristen had asked a really good question about the number of swimmers that they get in. And I just wanted to share, it was a large number of swimmers, so thank you for asking. I apologize to the swim club that I didn't write down the numbers or catch them in time. Nonetheless, this was discussed and recommended to bring to the full board in committee.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from the board on the motion on the floor? All right, hearing no questions or comments of the motion on the floor, the voting device is now open. JD? Is he still with us?
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Danny?
The motion to purchase the swim timing system for the aquatic center is on the floor. And how do you vote? Yes? Would anyone like to change their vote? Vote is now closed, and the motion carries. Now we move up to letter A, consideration to approve to add 7th and 8th grade middle school baseball and softball programs. I will be looking for a motion.
I move to approve adding 7th and 8th grade middle school baseball and softball programs according to the proposal.
Motion has been made by Abby. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, I don't think it's any secret that I'm super excited about this. A lot of people don't know that our new varsity baseball coach has worked with these 7th and 8th graders since they were 9 years old in the Stallions, and I am sure that that is very much the same in softball, working with Miss Softball over there, Sandy. So I'm very excited for this opportunity for our kids. Not only those travel baseball players though, but the ones who maybe, their parents couldn't afford it or didn't have time, and now they will be able to participate through school. Also, one other thing, Babe Ruth Baseball League, which is for this age group, couldn't start until later in the season last year because they had to wait for the other teams in our area to finish this season. And so it's really great for our kids not to have to wait until June to have their first baseball game. And I'm sure it's the same with softball, but I don't have people in my house that live with me that play that.
Dr. Bardo?
Yeah, it came to finance, and we approved it to come forward. I would like Tom to come up and explain about the scheduling because there are some issues with scheduling for next year.
Yeah, so this is a part of our WVC GNC combined middle school conference that we were a part of. And we are obviously, like Abby said, all the other schools have gone forward and added softball and baseball, and we are like the last one to do it. So right now, the schedules are already all out there for the other schools. So there's a bye in the softball schedule. So we'll be able to hop right into the softball schedule for this upcoming spring. However, the baseball, there is no bye yet. But there are teams around the area, including Northland Pines, who's in our conference in the high school, but they are not in the WVC GNC middle school. Talking with AJ up in Pinesville, we'll get a home and away game with them. There'll be some other teams that have extra teams that we can schedule with them through the WVC GNC. And then starting in the following year, spring of 2027, we will hop in that schedule and have a full baseball schedule complete with all of those teams. But it'll be a little bit more work on my end this spring, trying to get all the baseball filled. Softball will be easy, though. I'll be able to hop in the bye.
Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions or comments of the motion on the floor?
I like the idea that we're strengthening a sport that we've had forever. Because one of my worries about our athletics is we have a limited number of participants, and now you got lacrosse coming, all these other kind of sports that are coming along, and if we jump on the bandwagon for all of them, we're gonna really deplete what's going on. So I just like the idea of strengthening what we got.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, your voting device is now open for the motion on the floor. JD?
I'm sorry, was I supposed to vote?
Yep.
Just vote yes.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote? The vote is now closed. And the motion carries. Letter B, consideration to approve the 2026-2027 school calendar. I will be looking for a motion, please.
I move to approve option 1, Antigo District calendar for the 2026-2027 school year.
Motion has been made by Dr. Bardo. Would you like to speak to your motion?
This was brought to Finance and Human Resources, and there were two options, and the administration put it out to the public, teachers, students, and members of the community. Number one was the one that was overwhelming in the vote total as of Monday, and I assume since one is in the motion that remained. So that's what I got to say.
Mrs. Oginski, would you go over the results of the survey, please, so that way it's recorded?
Sure. So we had 535 participants vote for calendar option number 1, and only 178 choose option 2, and that's out of a combined total of 708 responses. And like Dr. Bardo said, it includes students, it included staff, it included our families as well. It's a process that we've been using since I've been here to try to get feedback from everyone before we make a decision around the school calendar. You'll also note that we will start a little earlier in August. We will be coming forward, if this one is approved, to get a waiver signed for us to start before Labor Day, but it still ensures that we're able to be out before Memorial Day weekend. Also, it builds in some flexibility for us to plan for the move to John H. Bradley as soon as we're closer to time and know when those dates may be available. So we've already started planning for that as well.
What I thought was interesting was seeing that of the 708 responses, 53.4% identified themselves as a student who attends the Unified School District of Antigo, who voted in favor of option 1. 23.2% and 23.4% are the other two groups who identified as either a caregiver or family member of a student who attends our school or an employee of the school district. So it was a very large, overwhelming response of students who wanted to start in
Yes.
August rather than after Labor Day.
Yes, and I might add too that you're only able to vote one time, so no one can go in and vote 10 different times. It's locked out to where you can only vote one time. But yes, we had, student participation was our largest participation group, which is wonderful.
It just seems odd we still have to sign a waiver. Because if I remember right, when they passed that law, the first school to opt out was Lakeland. In whatever year they passed it. And they passed it because of tourism.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you got Monaco opting out right away, very first year. So
Well,
it's never, nobody's ever went.
the other part of that story was the state senator was in the Wittenberg-Burnhamwood district who pushed it through. He had also been the president of the Tavern League before running for senator. And, yeah, that's why it was pushed through, was for making sure they had kids to work at the resorts. And so, anyway, yeah, that's been around forever.
Abby?
I just want to make sure that, so the first option was 182 days. I just want, and the usual teacher contract is 185. I just wanted to make sure that their contracts won't change at all.
Well, teacher contracts typically are 190 days. And ours haven't been that for quite some time, and the staff has continued to get pay increases and no decrease in any salary. So, yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
It's based on instructional minutes and not days, so that's what we calculate the most.
Are there any other questions of the motion on the floor of approving option 1 for the district calendar for next year? Jill?
There's no change to the start and end time at the high school or any of the levels, correct? I know in the two options there are not, but there's no change in the start and end time from the current school year.
I think the middle school is starting 5 minutes earlier.
Okay.
And then the only other comment to make, because this always creates interest, rightfully so, is noting, I want to make sure I'm on the right option, May 27th is the last day of school, which is a half day for students, and also the Indigo High School graduation day at 5 p.m. Again, May 27th, last day of school, also graduation for the high school seniors, and that is on a Thursday at 5 p.m. So that would be a significant change for our district to note.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So in working with the calendars, we also consult with Mr. Schofield, and there have been some changes with spring sports. And there was it track and field? There's different odd years where that event happens on a Friday, so that was why Friday wasn't chosen for graduation. Because if those students were participating at the state competition, they would have to miss their graduation.
And we did survey last year about interest in moving it off the weekend. So
Yes,
this is coming
correct.
from a survey result as
Yep.
well.
Thank you
Yes.
for pointing that out, too. I'm excited about the change.
Are there any other questions or comments of the motion on the floor? All right, hearing no questions or comments, the voting device is now open.
I'm going to make one more comment, can I?
Sure.
I just want to comment that summer school dates are listed on here, and I don't recall that they have been in the past, and that's just really helpful to know ahead of time. So thank you for that. I know there's a lot of work. I want it to be recognized.
Yes, thank you for making that mention of the summer school dates being on there. Okay, the voting device is open. JD, you're voting for option 1 of the school district calendar for the 2026-2027 school year.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? The vote is now closed, and the motion carries. Okay, letter C, consideration to approve Antigo School District new position. I will be looking for a motion, please.
I move to approve the creation of Dean of Students position at John H. Bradley Elementary for the 26-27 school year.
Motion has been made by Dr. Bardo. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, this item came to the Human Resource Committee. I want to say that the difference between a dean of students and a principal is that a principal needs to have an administrative degree. A dean of students only needs to have a teaching degree. And then earlier tonight, Mrs. Oginski mentioned when she was talking truancy that she wants to make sure in this new building that we're dealing with truancy and teaching our elementary kids so that they don't get bad habits. And that was, in our meeting, it was stated by Mrs. Oginski that this would be one of the priorities of this Dean of Students position. So I am in favor.
Are there any questions of the motion on the floor?
I have one.
Abby?
So the plan is to have a principal, an associate principal, and a dean?
Correct.
Okay. And this position would not require an admin certification?
Correct.
Would you entertain people that do have an admin degree for it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea, just based on the survey of, or the meeting you had with your employees at the elementary school. It's another disciplinarian. And I think just education in general right now, we have a lot of people coming into education who did not do it through say a 4-year program, where they actually got to sit down and have discussions about discipline and with other teachers, potential teachers and people who have taught. Because there's all kinds of nonverbal things that you are taught. There's a reason it's a profession. It's not just something anybody can do. So a lot of times you see people who haven't been trained come in and need that help. So I think this Dean of Students is awesome. And also these job coaches I know some people who are job coaches and they were tremendous teachers. And if I would have had somebody like some of them, it would have helped me a ton. And I was raised in a teacher's house, and a darn good teacher's house. So I really would have benefited, though, from a mentor right in the building. I don't think any of our teachers would be against being mentored, and if they are, I would question why they're here.
Any other, Jill?
I'm confirming a dean of students can complete teacher evaluations or cannot.
They can if they have an administrative license.
Thank you.
But it's not required for the position. Yeah.
Okay.
But their primary role would be students and families, behavior, truancy, those types of things.
Thank you. So I will vote in favor of this. It touches on the behaviors and truancy, both of which directly impact student achievement, both of which this board has stated academic achievement is our priority, and our secondary priority is behaviors. So this targets what the priorities are of this board, and I'm in favor of this position.
I also would like to speak in favor of this, and also thank you to our administration for getting ahead of the game at the beginning of this school year. We're still basically there, and looking forward for the new elementary building. So if this is passed, then this could be posted throughout the state, and we could find great potential candidates by being this early in the ball game, so to speak, to look for somebody for this position. So thank you to our administration for being early on this position, as well as even the last item of the calendar for next year. Any other questions or comments of the motion on the floor? Hearing none, the voting device is now open. JD, the device vote is open for approval of the dean. Thank you.
Away.
Scott?
I thought I hit yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? All right, the vote's now closed, and the motion carries. Letter D, consideration to approve school safety drills. Alice, I will be looking for a motion.
I move to approve the safety drills as presented.
Motion has been made by Abby. Would you like to speak to your motion?
No, thank you.
Are there any questions or comments of the motion on the floor? This is routine that we do every year at this time of the year to approve the school safety drills. All right, hearing no questions or comments of the motion on the floor, the voting device is now open. JD?
Yes.
Thank you. Would anyone like to change their vote? The vote's now closed, and the motion carries. Letter E, consideration to approve the final bids for Raising East Elementary. I will be looking for a motion, please.
I move the board approve, is this the Dirty Ducks one? I hit the wrong button. That's it? I move the board approve the approve Dirty Ducks Cleaning and Environmental Incorporated for the asbestos abatement at East Elementary in the amount of $49,748, and Krieger and Steinfest for the demolition and site restoration of the East Elementary property in the amount of $128,750 as presented.
Motion has been made by Mr. Peterson. Would you like to speak to your motion, please?
Yeah, Jake and I have kind of been working on this. I've been kind of staying on it. I don't like to micromanage, so I've been throwing ideas at him. I have made some phone calls. I've talked to Swiderski. They were flat out, were not interested. There's a couple builders, Jake can be more specific if he wants, that have expressed interest, but they're dragging their feet. We're at the point now where this building costs $40,000, whatever, a year to heat. And the realtors that I have talked to would be interested if the building was raised. They don't want to pay for the raising. And it's going to cost us money because lots aren't going for a pile of money in Antigo right now. The lot across from Wagner Shell is going for $15,000, and that's prime real estate. We're not going to get $15,000 for the lots at East Elementary. That's so we have been checking into all that.
Was it listed?
Did I list it with a realtor?
Yeah.
No, the board never made action to list it with a realtor.
I thought that was discussed during a meeting, and one of the talking points, I believe, was that in that discussion, so correct me anybody if I'm wrong, was the cost to keep a building vacant longer with no interest expressed to you, and we've been pretty open monthly about, has there been any sincere interest in this building? No, there has not. So that was the board discussion, correct?
Right, yes. And the people that I reached out to are interested in building things on it, but not interested in raising the building, investing that much money up front.
I had also previously shared feedback.
But there are some interests in our other lots, maybe more so. We don't know that yet.
And we're on East Elementary as the agenda item.
You're right.
I had previously shared two feedback I gathered from at least one well-known local realtor regarding that property, which it reflects what Mr. Peterson had just shared, that having a very large, very, very expensive building vacant was not desirable, at least to, I'm only not saying I spoke to all realtors, but one, but that was not desirable. And the recommendation or the hope was that it would be raised and also prevent it from becoming a blight within our community, because we have plenty of vacant buildings that cost a lot of money to do something with currently. This building would have a similar argument, and we've already shared all of those reasons previously.
And I went down to City Hall, met with the mayor, and McCarthy we met with, and they're excited just to get it on the tax roll. That was, so they're very aware of what we're trying to do and very excited to get that land back.
Are they, Dr. Bardo?
Jake, I was not part of the opening of the bids. Could you give me information so that the community hears it? How many bids we had for the asbestos and what was the amount of the number 2 bid, so that they see that we're taking the lowest bids, and the same then with the demolition?
Yeah, so when you look at the state requirements for a commercial building like this, we have to use our environmental company, EMC, that comes in and does a full analysis of the building, and we have to properly dispose of any materials that may be deemed as hazardous. Obviously, this building has asbestos in it. We knew that. That was part of the discussion for the last 20 years. So we had to do 2 separate scopes. First, we have to get a contractor to come in to abate any hazardous materials. Then once that's abated, then we have to demolish the building as it remains. Additionally, in that scope of demolition, it is to restore the site to grass, as we had discussed at previous meetings, so that they could be prepared to be sold off into city lots. So we had a walkthrough with contractors. There was 5 contractors that walked through for asbestos. We got 5 bids. Low bid was $49,748. That was with Dirty Ducks. The highest bid went up to $107,000, so fairly close dollar amount, but when you look at percentages, there was a little bit of a range there, so I was happy to see that. We did have 3 numbers between the 49.7 and 56.9, so 3 good numbers. You always want to see consistency within a few of them. You're always going to have an outlier. Some contractors just have workloads that they kind of put numbers out there that if we get it, we'll find a way to make it work, but we're going to make some money if they really need it that badly. So it's always good that you don't have to get in that position to accept a high number. For the demolition and site restoration, we had 6 contractors walk through. We had 5 bids. 1 contractor was the same contractor that bid the abatement. The other ones were not. The low bid on that was $128,750 to Krieger and Steinfest. That was kind of an outlier as a low number, which is good. So I called and had conversation with that company and made sure that they felt good with their number. Their comment, and I feel comfortable sharing this with Shane. I have a good relationship with him, is he always wants to be very fair with the community. He's trying to do everything he can to help us. And given that it's throughout the winter, it certainly helps keep people employed, and he's always interested in being as good of a employer and community member as possible. So he saw value in trying to give us the best number he could on that, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
We also had a few other local contractors that did come through, so I want to thank them for their interest. That was Heinz and Plumbing and Heating, and they gave a fair number. They do a great job too. Nothing against Heinzens and Ron Zalewski Farms. They ultimately did not bid, but they came through and were interested in possibly doing the work, and ultimately felt like it wasn't in the best interest. So I always like to acknowledge the local contractors and the value that they bring to the table when they put numbers in for contracts. We did have an outlier of $530,000. I think that was kind of one of those numbers that was we don't really want the work, but we will if we need to. But the other ones all fell within that those middle 3 numbers were fairly comparable between 150 and 200,000. So I feel good with the numbers. I think obviously having a local contractor be able to get this work is always beneficial and adds extra value. Local contractors have that hometown care to make sure that the job gets done good. So I was happy to be able to award that, or potentially award that to them.
I will ask very directly, you have had no interest in this building as it is to bring any other recommendations to the board, correct?
I've talked with multiple people that did show interest, two in particular that I don't know if they want their name shared, so I'm gonna keep that confidential.
I would not want you to share them anyway.
Two in particular that showed serious interest, asked for drawings, asked for the asbestos report, things of that nature, so that they could plan for a potential route for them. I provided them the information they asked. To date, I don't have any serious offers. I have kept them up to date that, you know, we were in the process of seeking bids for demolition during the same time. Let them know that, you know, if there was serious interest, they should at least try to show that they were gonna present an offer sooner than later. And it has not come to that. I'm not sure if they are electing to wait or, you know, see the result of this or what their reasoning is. But I've never received a formal offer.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments of the motion on the floor? Hearing no questions or comments of the motion on the floor, the voting device is now open.
Yes.
Thank you, JD. Would anyone like to change their vote? The vote is now closed. And the motion carries with one person abstaining from the vote. Letter F, consideration to approve open enrollment 2026, 2027 numbers. I will be looking for a motion.
I move to approve the 26-27 school year open enrollment numbers.
Motion has been made by Kristen. Would you like to speak to your motion?
This came to committee. This is not out of the norm, and just as important to note that we do every open enrollment look at it as a case-by-case basis, even if the number stayed 0.
Are there any questions of the motion on the floor? Hearing no questions of the motion on the floor, your voting device is now open.
Yes.
Thank you. Would anyone like to change their vote? The vote is now closed, and the motion carries. Letter G, consideration to approve 2026 staff laptops. I will be looking for a motion, please.
I move to approve the bid from Cameron Corner in the amount of $35,955 for the 2026 staff laptops.
Motion has been made by Abby. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Nope.
Are there any questions of the motion on the floor?
This was also brought to committee and sought to move forward here tonight to lock in the price.
Correct. Hearing no questions or comments of the motion on the floor, your voting device is now open.
Yes.
Thank you. Would anyone like to change their vote? The vote is now closed, and the motion carries. Item number 6, closed session is not needed due to the fact that we do not have the information that would be needed from our attorneys to complete this. Be prepared for this session to be on the item, on the agenda for the January board meeting. So at this time, I will look for somebody to make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Jill. Any opposition to this motion? All in favor of adjournment, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition of adjournment? We have one opposition. Let the record note, we have one opposition. And next meeting will be, Board of Education meeting will be Monday, January 19th, 2026. Everybody have a wonderful Merry Christmas.